Sierra Oscar Foxtrot, this is 614. Status check on podcast. I'll copy over.
614, this is Sierra Oscar Foxtrot. Roger, copy all. Podcast going live. Time now.
Hello and welcome to another amazing, awesome podcast. This is the best podcast ever, as agreed upon by me. And this is the Sierra Oscar Foxtrot podcast, by the way. And I am here today with an awesome guest. This is Chad the Dude, with the last initial of B.
There you go. Yeah, I'm the owner of Kraken-Skulls.
The owner of Kraken-Skulls.
Yep. And
Kraken a lot of other things. He is.
This is true. Yeah.
So, first, I think everybody wants to know is, where'd you come from?
So I was a product of the system. I'm from Los Angeles, California, first off and foremost, right?
Okay.
So I grew up in foster homes and group homes and never really had like a super family to really seek myself into, to tell you the truth. Which then brought me to my teenage years, and I kind of wanted to get away from where I was at. So I picked up on a sport in high school, which was wrestling.
Okay.
Which is a team sport, but at the same time it's an individual sport, you know what I mean? So I managed to become pretty decent at wrestling, and went to a tournament in San Diego and was offered the opportunity to come and wrestle for the militaries. Being a 16-year-old kid just whomping on these grown-ups in an open wrestling tournament. You know, the Marine Corps is like, hey, you should come wrestle for the Marines, you should come wrestle for the Navy, Air Force, Army. Well, I reached out to all of them, and finally the Army dude was really persistent. And he's like, hey, come wrestle for the Army, man. I was like, is that easy? I could really come wrestle for the Army? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay.
And what about the Air Force?
What about them?
Did they ask you to wrestle?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
They all, like, I'm telling you.
I sat on my ass for 2 weeks waiting for them to call me. Not a single phone call. No. I called them, and they were like, yeah, come back next year. I was like, fuck you then. I'm going Army.
Yeah, no, I did really well in that tournament, and I think that's what caught some people's eyes. You know, I was a kid beating up on grown-ups on the wrestling mats. So all this stuff goes down. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, let me go ahead and join the Army. Remember, I'm super naive. I grew up in the system. I wasn't super educated, barely graduated, barely get through everything I did, right? And then wrestling came along. So my GPA was probably 2.1, 2.2, whatever it was for me to actually be able to be on the wrestling team. Yeah. I was still living in the systematic approach of making easy money on this, doing illegal stuff, and just being a kid that's just getting out of the system kind of thing.
So at 16, I mean, the influences were those around you.
Oh, yeah.
What would you say the foster system was like? I'm sure it's a hit and miss. Some people do it for the money.
It's very much hit and miss. I would say every foster parent out there, and I'm going to hurt some feelings, the majority of foster parents are capitalizing on income and revenue from the state.
Yes.
And they compound that. It's kind of like an investment. The more kids you have, the less overall cost it is to maintain those kids, because now everyone has chores and everyone's equally involved, and now you just compounded your state gifting to maintain foster kids times 10. So
are these things generally long-term, or do you end up...
They're usually long-term. They try to house you for rehabilitation of your family, but the majority of us that get put in the system, our family will have to climb an uphill battle the entire time to try to retrieve you or retrieve a kid. And at that point, it's really easy for the new foster parents who have now seen, their golden egg, for instance, say, nah, he's a good kid, I get paid by the state for him. And you know what? No, I think he's doing really well here. So they will continue to throw curveballs at the same time as the mother or the father are trying to fight this uphill battle to fight whatever demons that put us in the foster care system anyways.
Yeah.
So I think it's, once you're in the system and it's too far gone, the signal flare has already been shot up and there's nothing you can really do. You just got to kind of wait out the time. And that's just my opinion. Once again, there's going to be some people that see this that are get upset with me and say, well, that's not how it is. You may be an exception to the policy, all right? So, with that being said, I joined the military. Once again, being uneducated, not knowing anything about military stuff, they said, well, you can wrestle for the Army and you're going to be in the infantry.
Okay.
And I was like, makes sense. Childcare, right? Yeah. I guess it'll give me more time to train and do all this stuff because I wanted to wrestle for the Olympics, you know?
Yeah.
And that was like my ultimate goal. I was like, all right, well, it makes sense. You know, childcare, I guess it gives me plenty of time on the mats, you know? Little did I know, I'm here now in Fort Benning, Georgia, and they're asking us what makes the green grass grow. Obviously, we think it's water, right? Water
You didn't say childcare. Did you say
no.
childcare?
Oh, no, I didn't say anything like that, but everyone around me said blood makes the green grass grow, and I was like, what the hell is this guy's problem? You know, I'm like, I got put into this systematic cult of people that are trying to grow grass with blood, apparently.
Hey, you know, blood is 90% water.
You know? Yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's a factoid, but that doesn't count for this one. We got other factoids coming to you.
So I'm in basic, and I'm like, yo, hey, listen, you know, I got it, drill sergeant, you know, obviously at parade rest. I think I'm in the wrong place, man. You know, I was supposed to come wrestle for the Army. Like, I think this is all, there's some big mess up. They were like smoking me, and I finally was like, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore. I just stood up, and I was like, no. Do push-ups. No. Dude, I'm here to wrestle. Like, whatever, we need to get a hold of somebody and find out what the hell's going on. You know, so they end up pulling me up to their first sergeant, to their sergeant major. And I'm like, hey, listen, you know, I'm like a super respectful kid at the time. I'm just like, there's something wrong here. Like, I'm literally only supposed to be wrestling. Well, they end up calling back to the recruiting station.
Yeah.
Bro, a whole investigation happened. Like, did you tell this kid that he was going to wrestle for the Army? To my recruiter. My recruiter's like, well, yeah, I did. He's really good. Like, you guys need to, like, go back to that tournament and watch all the video footage on it. And they're like, you know, whatever happened on the admin side, I'm sure he was chastised for that.
Oh, yeah.
Then finally, like, Howard, what do you want to do? Do you want to wrestle for the Army or not, dude? And I'm like, well, of course I do.
Yeah.
Like, all right, we'll finish this basic training thing, and then we can worry about the next step later. I'm like, all right, fine. You know, they tricked me again. You know, it's another trickery.
Trickery.
Oh, yeah.
Come
Straight
on.
trickery. So,
I thought at least the recruiter would have had you prepared for life going into
oh,
that.
no. He was obviously setting up his quota and making sure he met numbers and everything. But it's okay. He did well. I did 20 years. I retired. So anyway, so I get to my first unit, and I'm like, all right, I'm here to wrestle. I was told I had to tell you guys this. My battalion command sergeant major ended up being the wrestling coach for the European team. So next thing you know, boom, 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 and everything was lined up. I had to place top 3 in Greco-Roman and freestyle and the European Championships in order to go to Colorado for the Olympic backup team.
Gotcha.
That's essentially what it really is. Didn't make it. I was 4th and 2nd the first year, and then 3rd and 4th the second year. So anyways, didn't make it. They're like, hey, since you didn't make that, we're going to send you to Ranger School as a complimentary prize. And I'm like, what the hell is Ranger School? I still don't know what Ranger School was. They go to PRC, I do all that stuff, don't know what the hell's going on. End up going to Ranger School, finally learned what Ranger School was, graduated, came back. I'm like, all right, cool, what's next? This Special Forces thing, I think I need to go do that. Someone said it's hard, so let me go do that. They're like, yeah, that's not the way it works, bro. Yeah, I'm like, all right. So I'm still like, I was learning the system the entire time, you know. But ended up re-enlisting, going to 82nd Airborne Division, going to Airborne School, doing the invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan, or Afghanistan first, then Iraq, and then back to Afghanistan, and then finally went.
What year did you get in?
99.
99, okay. I got in 95 was when I initially, 17 years old. It was either, I met once upon a time, no shit, there I was in the bathroom, right? Hanging out, cock out. And the sergeant major, rather young looking sergeant major, walks in, and I was at Fort Stewart at the time. I was still in the reserves. Specialist, I think, PFC, one of those two. And he says, hey. Well, actually, no, I said, hey. I like, hey. You know, because he's all decked out. I was like,
say, hey, nice watch.
I said, yeah, that's a nice watch. What time is it? Oh, never mind, I got it, you know. But, no, I was like, you are seemingly, obviously, you know, young for a sergeant major. What is your secret? How did you get so high up at seemingly such a young age? He's like, hey, you do everything you can. You do all the schools, say no to nothing, you know, and volunteer.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right. So that was my driving force from there on out. Because like you, I was like, I went up there. I was like, okay, well, what's out there for me? Big World Army. And they're like, oh, well, you could be a 12 Bravo. I'm like, what's that?
Combat engineer.
Hell yeah, combat engineer.
So there, if you want to, were you in a 12 Bravo?
Yeah.
Did you go to sniper school?
Yep.
Okay. Did you go to Ranger School?
Yeah.
You got both.
Yeah.
Agree or disagree? Sapper school was harder than Ranger school.
Yes.
Thank you.
I agree. I tell you what, I learned more in that month about fucking everything than Ranger School, which was just a suck fest. You know, obviously better hone my skills, you know, in platoon level and squad level tactics. But I mean, I went uber prepared. You know how many times I was the RTO in Ranger School because of this? But yeah, it was a great building block and was more challenging.
I did go to Sapper school as an 18 series guy.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. As 18 Charlie.
Okay.
I lost the bet.
You lost a bet.
And it ended up being actually a phenomenal school. So I went to Ranger school at 19. Mm-hmm. And I went to Sapper school at 29. So that's a big difference in your physical abilities and your capabilities as your body.
Oh, yeah.
So Sapper school is just Ranger school with ropes. And you have to now navigate terrain, both vertical, horizontal, and descending. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So that same mission that you had to do as an ambush or a river crossing, cool story, bro. But now you got to carry all the demo and the ropes that go along with it.
Yes.
You know, so your packs are 65, 75 pounds. And now you have to navigate these treacherous cliffs that could kill anybody at any moment in time in real life. It's not like, you know, make-believe killing.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
it's real killing.
You go down the rappel line in full, like, 100-pound kit, and you're doing the possum at the end.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and you're like, all right, let's, you know, next. Ranger Sapper School was definitely awesome. I mean, so much knowledge that they crammed down.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just like all the knots, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know if you remember how difficult the knots exam was.
Oh, the knots is, yeah, I mean.
Task and purpose.
You got to, and that's the thing, I mean, more technical than even the mountains phase. Like, mountains phase had knots, of course. Sure. But then the practical application, and everything's graded.
Yeah. You're
on 1,000-point scale, at least they were when I went through. Now, I went through before the tab was actually a given thing. I was back in 2001. In fact, I went through all the schools in 2001. Mm-hmm. I was like, fuck it, let's knock it all out. I was in Ranger School when 9/11 happened.
So was I.
You were in Ranger School? 9/11?
Class 0202.
I don't remember which one it was. I know it was cold.
When did you graduate? December?
Yeah.
Were you in the same Ranger class as I was?
Holy shit, were we? Maybe. No, not December. November is when I graduated, I think.
Okay. I graduated December of 2001.
Because I went through PRC and it was balls hot, and then graduated when my balls were freezing.
Yeah, so I think October I showed up to Ranger School.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I was definitely there. I probably was a class ahead of you.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't recycle. I just went straight through.
No.
So, had I recycled, we probably could have linked up. So, wow. There you go.
Yeah, go figure, right?
2 atoms floating around in the netherverse, you know,
just the way it works.
Just missing. So, at what point then after Ranger School, and I understand, like, you're in a specialized unit that did the wrestling thing, not so much the training, not so much the military thing. Mm-hmm. That had to have been a stark contrast to going to the 80 Deuce.
Oh, yeah, huge. I mean, you understand, the unit that I was in was actually a regular infantry unit, but I was special duty just for the European wrestling team.
Yeah.
So I had special duty. So literally everyone else wakes up and does all their stupid crap. Like, I would wake up and go straight to the gym and roll around on the mats for 4 hours, get smoked. I was in the best shape of my damn life, man. Like, I could have climbed Mount Everest with my eyes closed at that time. You know, I was sitting at 9% body fat. I was a monster.
Yeah.
And they were just, my sergeant major was actually super dope. Wade Gunter was his name, and he's a legend.
You guys were in Germany?
Yeah.
When were you in Germany?
2000 to 2002.
See, we just missed. I left in 2000. Went to the 80 Deuce.
Yeah, I mean, I got there in 99, but 2000 was like my first, right after Christmas leave.
Yeah.
So like January 3rd was my report date to Baumholder, Germany.
Baumholder? See, I was in Eder Oberstein.
You didn't have a real job.
Oh, it was awesome. No, it was great. I mean, I reported into Baumholder. They're like, oh, engineer, you guys are way over there. I'm like, okay, that's awesome.
Eder Oberstein, yeah.
Eder Oberstein.
Ich liebe Deutschland.
That mountain from where we lived in the Caserna all the way down to the city where all the bars were.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't so bad going down, but that shit got steep as hell going back up.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how
You
that
had the
happened.
castle on the mountain right there.
Yep. In fact,
Yellow sign, yeah.
we hung out over there once upon a time, like, explored it.
Yeah.
Stayed the night, did some rappelling off it.
Oh, dope.
There was a secret room that you couldn't access unless you came in through the outside.
Oh, that's pretty dope.
Yes. Don't give this to the German officials, please, because I think that was illegal. But
Was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, great time to be in Germany then.
Mm-hmm.
The mark was cheap, and
Yeah, the Deutschmark was good, man. That was good times, bro. Like, I really enjoyed that portion of my life because I was a kid, underage, under 21, In the States, I wouldn't be able to drink. But guess what? In Germany, they're like, oh, you're not 13 years old? Come on.
Yes.
You're like, what the heck just happened, And you see, like, little 12 and 13-year-old kids sitting at the bar. Like, you're like, all right, that's normal, I guess, here.
Yeah.
15-year-old, 16-year-old people just smoking cigarettes and acting like grown-ups. And I'm like, all right, this is not how it's supposed to be, but all right, I dig it.
So when did you go to selection?
05.
Okay. When first was November, December of 99. I went to selection from Germany. And then didn't make it. So I took the scenic route. I said, I didn't make it, so let's go to Bragg.
Yep.
And just jump out of airplanes and do 80-second stuff until I go back.
Yeah.
So did that, and that's when, that 1 year was the year. Did the Sapper School first, did PLDC in the middle, and then Ranger School at the end. And then came back out of that. We did our first trip to Afghanistan. Came back after that. I said, it's SF or get the fuck out. So similarly, I mean, what unit did you end up to?
2504.
04?
That was a white devil.
I supported 1505.
Okay.
And 3505 for a little bit.
Okay, cool.
In Afghanistan, we were with 1505. Charlie Company 1505. That's who I was hanging out with back then.
Nice.
You gotta have some fun stories, though.
Who doesn't have fun stories?
Exactly. Let's say at Bragg. Were you there when they had the big push ball?
Yeah, of course.
Yes. See that?
It's called World Ball, sir.
I think it was push ball.
No, it was World Ball.
I don't remember. It was a big ass ball, and everybody essentially fought each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
That
this
was
ball
a lot of
was
fun.
8 foot tall. It was 8 foot tall by 8 foot wide. It's this damn big old ball.
Big ball.
Very dangerous, but they had a little leather strap that wrapped in the closing loop for the blowing the thing up. And the whole goal was whatever team would grab onto that leather strap of the rope, you just never let go of that point. So you would hold on to it, and as that ball rolled, you would fly over, and your feet would fly over and like demolish people, So the whole goal was like a wrecking ball. So as your team pushed this ball towards their goal, you would just ninja chop everybody you ran into.
It was like...
So many people went to the hospital.
I mean, rugby is something, and everyone knows rugby is like a little violent. This is rugby like times 3. I mean,
it was bad.
In fact, I think after that, they stopped it. Yeah. But hey, we could say no shit, there we were.
Oh yeah, no shit, there I was. I had the opportunity to be on that same field as that World Ball. That was crazy.
All American Week. Marching from any corner of Bragg in your Class A's to the field. And then standing there forever.
Watch people pass out and with bayonets attached.
Yep, you're like, who's getting skewered?
Who's gonna get sliced open today, matey?
Yes.
You call that a knife?
So you went to selection.
Yep.
Made it. Obviously. How was your time in group? How was that?
How was selection?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
We'll just forward through selection. We know selection was selection.
Yeah.
There's lots of cool stuff, that could talk about, but selection. But your time in group though.
So it was weird for me because I was at E7 when I showed up the group.
Okay.
So there was already a different level that I would kind of expect to be performing at, than an E6 would be.
Sure.
So I show up, and first off, all throughout the Q course, it's like you're gonna be a senior as soon as you show up, and you're like, listen, I don't know what the hell's going on, So I show up to group as a E7, and immediately it starts. I get straight there, and we're going straight down range. Literally 14 days after I show up, I'm on ODA going down range.
Yeah.
So.
Now, what was your MOS?
18 Charlie.
You're a Charlie. Okay. Yeah, 2 Charlies. All right, cool.
Yeah, I was a Charlie at the time. awesome rotation, phenomenal people, get back, school, rotation.
Yes.
So the op tempo was skewed because it wasn't a 6 on, 6 off. It was 6 on, 1 week off, followed by 2 months of training, followed by 1 month of school, followed by a PMT, and then downrange again, and then leave, and then downrange. And you're like, what the hell? That wasn't really 6 on, 6 off, man. That was like 6 on, 1 off, maybe,
Yeah.
And then 5 months of training in between, which I didn't care. I just thought, I was like, all right, this is the standard.
Yes. Were you single?
No, I've never been single.
Never been single.
I'm married to the world.
Awesome.
So.
But to a woman.
Yeah.
That's different.
No, it's definitely not different. That is the scenario. But yeah, so you live that life, and your son just growing up, and you're just 6 on, 6 off, 6 on, 6 off. It doesn't get tiring for me because I think what makes a marriage strong is the fact that you're not there. To be 100% honest with you, I think when you're deployed all the time and you ain't got shit to fight about. Yeah.
It depends. So I would say same boat. And I didn't get married until after the first trip with SF. Because obviously by then I'd already gone through 2 other deployments. One in Germany and one in the 82nd. And then after the first one in SF land, then I, attached myself to this woman and we started our relationship and did all that stuff. And after that second trip, we did the 6 on, 6 off. The battalion commander comes up there and says, congratulations, guys. You've made it for these last 2 years. Guess what? No deployments for the next year. And, of course, everyone's like, yay, and doing that jump, thinking that they're not going to go to Afghanistan. Until I get a knock on the door shortly thereafter, and they're like, hey, we need you to go to Yemen. The wife was not happy. Because, you get the message, and you're like, all right, you think you got all this free time, and the next thing you know, bye, see you 6 months down the road. That is the choice we made.
Sure.
As SF guys, you got to fill the shoes and you got to go when they tell you to. Still great times, awesome trips.
Phenomenal. Oh, what we could talk about? I think it's always a good talking point. VA stuff.
Oh, the VA stuff. I've really not had any dealings with the VA.
Oh man.
This whole time. So when I got on my way out the door. Down there at the one-stop basement is the VFW guys. They hooked me up with everything I needed.
Yeah.
And when I left, that's it. I mean, I have yet to talk.
How long have you been retired now?
5 years.
You've never been to the VA for a single thing?
No.
Let me teach you something.
Teach me.
It's gonna hurt your fucking heart.
I feel like it won't.
Yes, it will. You have to go in for annuals, even if you're permanent and total.
Uh-huh.
They can redact your permanent and total.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, shouldn't I see something in the mail or something?
No. All of a sudden, you won't get a direct deposit in your bank account.
Really?
It'll just stop. And think about how hard it will be to restart that.
Yeah.
You better go to the VA, check all your contact information list so they have your contact information and all your benefits and all that shit, and make sure that you are sitting down with a doctor 1 time a year.
So, although I get the VA thing, I have a doctor. Doesn't that count?
No.
That does not count.
Does not count.
So, through the TRICARE system,
correct,
being seen medically or whatever through a doctor does not count as the VA.
It is not the VA. It is appointed by the VA as a physician to take care of you or to monitor your health.
Yes.
But what do you think the odds are of your doctor actually doing annual write-ups to the VA? Probably slim, dude.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, you can have all of your pay stopped.
Interesting.
And that would be $3,600 a month. That would just cease.
All right. Son, I'm talking to Ty, my son. I have brought him down from the attic yet again to help us with the technicals. Please make a note that I must see the VA doctor.
It could be a telephonic. It could be anything. You just have to. Once a year.
Go. I'm going to crank call him. See if I can wake him up at like 3 a.m. I'm like, what are you wearing? This is Brian Stanfill. Please log me in as talking to my doctor.
We have now talked. But yeah, so I've heard horror stories of guys getting all their pay stopped.
Okay.
So they still get their retirement pay. But now they're 4 or 5 months of no pay from the VA. And that's how they were surviving, because they were bullshitting, not having a job. So they're living off of their $2,400 retirement plus $3,600 VA. They're like, dude, I'm killing it, bro. 6 bands a month, I don't do shit. $72,000 a year. All right, stop. And then until it stops, and then you're like, so how's that working out for you, bro? They're like, oh, yeah. So no, there's definitely scenarios where they will just stop a permanent total
Okay.
money if you're not communicating with them and going to your one doctor appointment a year.
Gotcha.
It could be for anything. It doesn't have to be for
Yeah, no
even
idea.
mental shit.
I've always been wanting. I need to get that scanned for the head, though. I think there's more grains, with the gray spots, you know, a little floating around there.
Right, I'm sure. Dental. Have you done any dental since you got out?
No.
You know why you haven't?
Because I don't have insurance?
Because you don't have dental.
Oh, yeah, I don't have dental.
So I did not know any of this when I got out. I went to the dentist and they had a bill of $15,000 for me.
Why? 15,000.
2 root canals.
Oof.
Well, this is all stuff that if I would have known better, I just would have had it done.
Do regulars. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
a bridge, crown, you know, and some facials and stuff, or fascias. And I was like, 15 for what? They're like, oh, you don't have insurance, bro. I'm like, I was told that I had dental insurance, man. No, you don't. But you can get it from VA.
Maybe I should.
So I literally just started all mine up.
Okay.
So now it takes like 3 months for it to even start.
Gotcha.
So you just plan for 3 months from now, right now.
There we go.
You know, but what you don't want is like a filling to fall out, and it's like one of those like dropping to your knees pain, and you have to pay for it out of pocket. You don't want that to happen.
I appreciate that. You don't want that to happen for me.
I don't, because I know the pain that comes along with that.
So, you retired in 05? 2019, okay. Right off the get-go, you started the Kraken thing?
Yeah, so I had been thinking about it while I was a first sergeant, you know, and I was like, I need to do something when I get out of here. I'm on my way out. And I'd always been looking for a building, looking for places. Like at lunch, me and the commander would go out. And they're like, hey, let's go eat lunch over here. And I'd be like checking out buildings and stuff. And finally found my final resting place for my Kraken-Skulls headquarters. I just wanted to create a place where people can go. If they're having a shit day, they can go there and bring it from here to, you know, a little bit lower. They can just kind of tone it down a little bit. Whatever drama is going on in their life, they can literally just come over and hang out like a big old man cave. So inside there, I have my nail salon, I have my barber shop, I have my tattoo shop, I have my t-shirt printing shop, my embroidery shop right there, all in the building, my bar, a graphic design studio, a website design studio upstairs. It's kind of what we got going on at Kraken-Skulls.
All right, that's awesome. So, a lot in a little package. Maybe. It looks smaller on the outside, I think, definitely.
Yeah, so we got 9,000 square feet.
9,000, that's pretty
So
good.
what is this place right here?
This is roughly the same. It's like 8,000 something.
Okay. So imagine all that stuff in your space.
Yes. And I think what makes it different is that yours is going up. You're
Yeah,
vertical.
multi-level.
Yeah, which is cool, you know? You got an elevator?
I'm actually putting an elevator in.
Dude, that'd be the shit. Gotta have an elevator. One thing I notice is you do a lot of giving back. And it's a drive. You know, it's for me, I don't even know why I do these things. It's just like I feel like I have to do things.
Sure.
It's crazy. I had 3 companies going, which they're all construction. Now I'm down to 2 companies. I've got Veteran Harbor, which is the nonprofit, writing books, doing the podcast, competitive shooting. It's just constant. And I think that we're kind of the same in that respect. Just there's a drive, we have energy, let's do it. And especially the giving back to the community thing. What are some of the things that over at Kraken-Skulls?
So, and this is not a ding on any nonprofit out there. I just want to explain where I'm coming from. I am not a fan of large nonprofits because they get really too big for their britches. And they end up, and it's kind of like the cart before the horse, because when you're a smaller nonprofit, you're like, man, I wish people would just see my program and help me out with it. But once you start getting bigger and after your 5-year point, at your break point, all of a sudden everybody wants to throw money at you and try to help your nonprofit. The problem is those big guys have grown so big. I call it like the sprinkler concept, right? So the sprinkler's sitting in the corner, water turns on, right? And the thing starts going. What you don't realize is all that grass right next to the sprinkler is not getting any water. All of your resources and all of your assets and all of your participation is going out so far because you've grown so freaking big, you're not able to take care of that corner that you're in. So even though I am a for-profit company, I'm able to fill the void of all that corner of grass is just going to die because no one's paying attention to it, because they're so focused on, the big picture, that get out there and come on, man. Like, I am not a fan of the big ones because they don't take care of the people who need it right here in their backyard.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from. It's like once you go to the national level of a nonprofit, Wounded Warrior, and I know that they do a lot of great things, but at the same time, when I reached out and I'm like, hey, I'm just this little guy over here. We're trying to do some little things over here. You guys want to team up or do something? I don't even know who that guy would be that you talk to, because the guy I talked to is like, hey, you can do a monthly subscription to be a something, and give us money. And I'm like, it's not quite what I was looking for. It doesn't help me at all, And
right.
Then you also understand, you look back and you say, okay, well, how much of the business is really back to the business and how much is really going out to the people who need help?
True. Like I said, I'm not bashing nonprofits, because there are some good nonprofits that are actually out there doing things.
Like Veteran Harbor.
I don't know Veteran Harbor like he does, but he does. We have Through Tragedy Comes Light locally.
Yeah.
We have Veggies for Vets local. We have Hometown Heroes for local. Like, there's a bunch of stuff right here local that does it. If you want to be in the veteran side, there's Falcon Children's Home. There's all kinds of small elements that really truly need help, and that's where I want to put my effort at. Most of the time, it comes out of my pocket, and if it's not out of my pocket, everyone from the family kind of pitches in. So Kraken-Skulls, we don't have any customers, right? Mm-hmm. So we have family. And if the family wants to participate in helping with an event, they do. Even whether it's, hey man, I'm going to donate some gifts, or hey, cool man, I got the sponsorship with this element, I can get tickets at discounted rates. Let's see if we can get people to donate presents in exchange for tickets to go to this game that somebody else paid for, and make the presents, show up when they need to go. So it's cool when you can see a bunch of people actually doing something that you can see the end results, the tangible evidence of it happening, not just, oh yeah, something's happening or something good's happening. And no, man, you can just see it. Just keep your eyes open. Yeah. I had Jill, who had come to Kraken-Skulls and dropped off a bunch of gifts. It was her and her husband who would do it for one of the American Legions, but unfortunately her husband just passed away like a week ago.
Yeah.
But she came to the compound and she's like, hey, I need help getting rid of these presents. I'm like, oh, I got you. I went live. I had 46,000 people. I need you to understand that. 46,000 people chiming into my live and showing up. Probably 2,000 actually showed up to the compound to get gifts for the kids. And that happened all within 30 minutes.
Was this the TikTok live thing?
No, that wasn't a TikTok live. That was a Facebook live.
Okay, Facebook live. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's why I bring my son out of the attic, because he's more knowledgeable on technological things.
Sure.
TikToks, Facebooks, I'm learning the way of the TikTok, slowly but surely.
Man, I was sleeping on TikTok, man. The reason why it's cool is because it's all backwards compatible, man.
Yeah.
So you can make your video on TikTok, share it to Instagram, share it to Facebook.
Yes, and that's what I've been working on. And of course, I'm in all these groups, the veteran groups, a lot of veteran groups.
Sure.
Well, let me tell you, Veteran Harbor, and this is our niche in life, is we align ourselves with other nonprofits who are out there to do good and helping those try to start up their nonprofits. A lot of guys out there who want to do a lot of good but don't know how to go about doing it. And that is what we do as our purpose in life. We are trying to work with these guys down in Sumter County, Project Josiah, and helps with building a little community for those who are trying to go through programs through the VA.
Sure.
But we can only go so far. We're here to assist, advise, and mainly on the building side of the house, because that's what I do. I'm a licensed general contractor. So I said, I see there's a little hole, where some of these guys, who might need that location, or they might not know how to get to that point. We also assist in fundraising for these guys. We did a fundraiser, 4th of July fundraiser, to help out the people up in Harnett County. Harnett County, they have a veteran treatment court, and I've spoke of it before. We did a 4th of July fundraiser for them, auctioning off a bunch of cool stuff, and right then and there, count the money. I go, here you go, and there's $1,000 for you, and that helped them provide gas for the vehicles to get their guys that they need to, because these are people who have gone wayward out of the military, whether through drugs, alcohol. They just fell off the path essentially, and now they're trying to get back on the path, and they need help to get back on the path, and that's what we do. We help them. Now, one of our main sticking points is that you have to be a 501c3 in order for us to help you, because then that way I feel like it brings legitimacy to the cause essentially. I mean, you do it out of your own volition, but if I'm going to tell these guys down here, I say, look, because I guess what really came of this was the people who initially contacted us was a quasi-government organization.
Okay.
And I was like, well, we can't fix ourselves directly to you. You're a government organization.
Right.
So we need to attach ourselves to somebody. And it's not just I'm going to do fundraising for this guy right here and go, well, here's the money.
Right.
And then he's like, thanks, and takes off. So at least if they've gone the extra effort to make it a 501c3, then I feel all right, I know it's going to where it needs to go. And
I understand that. How big's your panel?
Panel? We have
Your board.
4 of us, maybe 5. Always looking for more. If you want to jump on board, that's great. Come on and help. Come in for the big win.
It's not that I don't have enough time, bro, but
No.
I don't have enough time.
No, I hear you. I'm the same way. But so here's what our current mission and focus right now is actually our very first Veteran Harbor house. Once again, is going to help the Veteran Treatment Court, but is more importantly helping this guy. If you look on the website, we got the Robert Lee Project. Guy who's definitely fell off the beaten path, has drunk himself almost to death for like the last 25 years.
Sure.
But has come to their attention, and through them, we came together. We agreed to buy his property because his house, you can literally see through it. So we're coming together. We're going to raise money, rebuild the house. It'll be the first Veteran Harbor house. He will be the custodian, and this house will help support those guys coming through the program. And there might even be a little more activity going on over there. Could be some training going on. It's hard to say. There's a lot of potential with that. But, nobody takes any money out of these donations for sure for us. 100% is going toward the effort. But, I could talk Veteran Harbor all day long. However, check out the website. Is there any particular websites would you like the people out there to look at?
No, what I would say is if you're not following me on Facebook, Kraken-Skulls, you can find me on there. I think I have somewhere around 14,000 followers on there. Instagram is Kraken_Skulls_official. I think we're sitting right around 9 or 10,000 on that side. And then TikTok, Kraken-Skulls Official. We're 4,000 or 5,000 deep on that one, but you can go on my website at www.kraken-skulls.com and see what we're all about.
Awesome. Yes, I like I said, I'm new at the TikTok thing.
Sure.
So it's cool. You're on every morning.
I am.
And like sometimes at night.
Yeah. They're great. I'm able to reach a deeper, darker corner that I've never been able to reach with any of the other platforms, which makes sense when you're trying to get your mission out to a lot of people. Go where the people are.
Yeah.
Let them see who you are, and then let them identify whether or not they want to be involved with what you're doing. And I'm telling you, it generated more business than you would ever believe just being on TikTok, just talking like this.
Yeah.
So I do like my own version of like a podcast on TikTok while people are gifting money the entire time.
Yeah, so you're doing like these challenges, or you're going head to head on these things.
Yeah, they're fun, man.
And how does that work exactly? Because I was curious about that.
So sometimes you're definitely undermatched, like an underdog,
Yeah.
So all the people amongst TikTok, right? The entire metaverse of TikTok, all these fucking people, right? Once you have 1,000 followers, you're authorized to go live. Once you go live, you find people with similar tastes as you or whatever, and you challenge them to a battle. Sometimes, like, it was me against a guy with 4.6 million followers, But what's cool was now I just got exposed to all of his followers. And they got to decide whether or not they wanted to follow me. If they did, cool. And then from that point on, anyways, the battles, usually it's a subject of conversation. Why this water is good, for instance.
All right.
So you and I would both talk about why this water is good versus you say it's bad because it's bad for the environment, plastic, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but it's really convenient. What if I don't throw the bottle away? So the conversation, it's very...
So is it more like a who wins in the debate?
Yes.
Based off of
the people's... Followers, yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So whoever's better explaining what the heck's going on with that conversation.
Okay.
Which is really cool because there's some that get in there like... about religion and stuff, and I'm just like, all right. These are one of the things that you guys don't want to hear from me, but let's go.
Religion.
Or, the LGBTQ community.
Yes.
Like, those things will pop up, and I'm like, oh, man. Be a dude in full makeup and a dress and lipstick, and I'm just like, the things I want to say inside my head, I am not going to say because it's inappropriate. But you sit there and you have a good conversation with them, and then next thing you know, they're like, everyone's gifting you, even if it's 25 cents, 50 cents. Who cares? They're gifting you, and you win the battles. And at the end of the day, when you finish, it'll say how much money you earned from all of the gifts that you received from all the people.
Okay.
And I use the gifts from TikTok for my Baby Kraken program, anyways.
Baby Krakens. So what's the Baby Kraken program?
Dude, that's awesome.
Let's hear it.
The Baby Kraken program is me identifying a way to bridge the gap of today's youth from us, right? So we were out in the streets till nighttime. The street lights came on. We had to run home, hurry up and get home.
Yep.
Now these kids don't even want to leave the house. They're on their video game, just nerding out.
That's true. Now I tell you,
Fortnite, all kinds of
Ty
games.
wants to get out, but I don't let him. I do lock him in the attic.
Well, that's also that's your problem. But so what I'm doing is bridging that gap now. So I'm taking the kids out. Like, how old's your son?
He's 17.
Dude, like, he is a prime candidate for the Baby Kraken program.
Oh.
Why? Like, our next trip, we're teaching them how to snowboard on the 29th.
Okay.
So they literally hop in the activity bus. We drive them to the mountain and teach them how to do an activity, a snowboard, for instance. Is this on the 29th. But it is a perfect opportunity for them to get out with kids, boys and girls their age,
Yeah.
It's like the Boy Scouts without the naughty sleepovers.
Gotcha.
I mean that in a professional way, y'all.
I have a
It's
funny...
like Catholic Church without the hugs.
Without the extra hugs. Yes. Yeah, I got a funny story. So no shit, there I was skiing the Alps. But before I could ski the Alps, I had to learn how to ski the Alps.
Right.
So they gave us like a little half-hour tutorial with some person. And and you go up the little hill holding on to the banana
bunny
thing
slope
that goes out there. And they're like, okay, we're going to teach you how to do a left turn. I'm like, okay. So they show the motions. I'm going down and I do my left turn. But I don't know how to turn anywhere else. And I'm heading right for the little bunny slope thing. And I'm like, and you do the thing and you're overhead. And I'm like laying there and I look up and I see this rather large German woman holding her beer going, and I'm like, yeah. This is one of those Kodak moments,
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
It's like, wow, if only they had taught me how to do the right-hand turn, too. I could have maybe corrected myself. But.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the Baby Kraken program. So, like I said, we're just getting these kids out and about and doing stuff there. So my project manager for this is Mason, a really good friend of mine, and one of my brothers, right? Another 18 series guy as well.
Okay.
So he runs all my IT. He does all my crypto mining. I
met him.
Yeah. So he does all that stuff, and that's what his role is in the company, But he's the project manager for the Baby Kraken program. So we'll hop on these, $180,000 laser machines and teach these kids how to run lasers and build 3D platforms and how to go into CAD software and there's each one is just the next it levels up. I tell you,
this kid over here, I'll brag about him on to the world, I'll brag about this kid over here. So, at 13, he put out his game on Google Play.
Oh, cool.
I mean, it's the Ellie Pig game. I don't know if you can access it still, but it's cool.
Nice.
We used to have a pig, and her name was Ellie. You know, and the one thing, she used to live inside the house.
Right.
So, she got too big for her britches, literally, and we got her a boyfriend and sent him out. But the idea was, you know, it'd be cool to have a little pig run around the house destroying and eating everything. You know, it broke out of its cage and it's out there destroying and eating everything, and then the owner has to build a new cage and capture her before she finally breaks the glass and sails away to freedom. It's an interesting game.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what that whole program does, man.
That's awesome.
It's a good time. It really is.
Now, why the Kraken? Everything's Kraken.
So I got messed up in Iraq back in the day, and I got wounded pretty decent. It's where I had earned my Purple Heart, if you want to call it earning it. That's where I received my Purple Heart. So, like, I'm not huge on religion. I'm really not. I don't know what religion is real. I don't care. So I just kind of believe in all of them, you know?
Yeah.
And one thing I remember was, you know, how everyone in SF is like till Valhalla, right? So I had read an excerpt from a book, and it said, you know, those who are wounded cannot pass through the gates of Valhalla. So you use tattoo ink to cover your scars to show that you're strong enough for the next battle, like in the next world.
Gotcha.
So that's why a lot of SF dudes end up, like, if they get jacked up, they cover their scarring all with tattoos. So it all goes back to the Till Valhalla. So I ended up covering all of the scarring on my leg with the huge Kraken.
Yeah.
It goes from my knee all the way up to my, you know, belly. And
Where do the tentacles go?
yes, one of them is the tentacle.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so I had nicknamed the Kraken.
Yeah.
So then I carried Kraken on for a couple of years, and as I got out, I was like, you know what, dude? How do I say I'm gonna smash your face in the most appropriate way possible, most professional way? And Kraken-Skulls was the answer. So it means a whole bunch of different things to a whole bunch of different people. Regardless, it says that's someone I don't want to mess with.
Yeah.
You know, if someone has a huge Kraken-Skulls flag swinging outside of his house, and you're going down, breaking into everyone's house, you're going to go like, you know what? Let me just skip this one. For whatever reason, I feel like I need to skip that house. It's Kraken-Skulls. Yeah, you know what? Let me just keep going, you know? So everything is now Kraken, and that is my spirit animal, you know?
There you go. Well, so obviously Kraken comes from Norse mythology, but there's some truth. I think they have found some historical evidence of a rather large cephalopod, whether it be, we're still unsure, maybe either a squid or an octopus.
Yep.
That 250 to 90 million years ago, they have found the remains of a ichthyosaurus, which is those big, you know, brontosauruses with flippers. That the rib cage was totally like crushed. And of course, little known fact is that octopi like to decorate their little lair with the bones of the people that, or not people, I guess.
They're consumed items.
Yes, exactly. You know, they're groceries. They put their grocery leftovers and stuff. And that was one of the things that was found. And I thought that was interesting. 250 to 90 million years ago.
Yeah.
And who's to say, you know, that the Loch Ness Monster is the ichthyosaur. Loch Ness is the ichthyosaur, and then the Kraken is still out there looking for her.
Maybe. You know,
we're spreading conspiracies today.
yeah, we could do that, because what is the Kraken? Let's just ask that. Well, what is that? Well, it doesn't matter what it is. It's just something that you're not aware of, and you're scared of for whatever reason, and that's what happened back in the day with pirates and all the above, right? They feared the seas because the Kraken would sink their ship. Whatever it was that instilled fear in the people at that time is the same as what people do today. They instill fear into the people for whatever reason, to objectify or manipulate their requirements and requests. Just think about it. In the deepest, darkest corner of it, if nothing else, if it's never been real, they were obviously just trying to keep people off the water. It was to keep people from invading places. It was from keeping It's because the information flow wasn't good back then.
No.
So if you can say, hey man, don't go that way because this huge Kraken just like destroyed my friend's boat. I seen it with my own eyes. And you're like, all right, well, I got to take that as ground truth.
shit.
Like, all right, well, I'm not going across that water. Even if that was now a false protection of a certain shore for them to not invade. So whatever the Kraken really is, it's nothing more than something in the world that you're unaware of, and until you're aware of what it is, you're going to fear it. Which really goes back to my company.
Fear his company.
Until you know what we are, and then you'll love us.
You're either in or you're out.
Yeah.
What you got future plans? What's next for you? You gonna branch out the Kraken?
Yeah, so my next one will be going to Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
So I have a Fort Lauderdale location after Lauderdale. I already own the property out there. So I already bought 2 acres. I had some lessons learned with my current one, the property layout and all the above for approvals and alcohol licenses and stuff like that. So I have now rectified and finalized what I needed for the next properties, right? So I picked up 2 acres for my next commercial property in Fort Lauderdale, just around the corner from the Hard Rock Casino. After that is Vegas. I am paying on a piece of property that I bought 5 years ago in Las Vegas, about 4 miles from the Raider Stadium. So that'll be Kraken-Skulls Vegas, and then Los Angeles, and we'll call it good for it there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my 5-year plan.
All right. Wow. 10 years the world.
No, I mean I'll probably be dead in 20. I give myself a good 20 more years and I'll be dead.
20 more years?
Yeah, I always said 20 years before the military, 20 years in the military, 20 years after the military. Anything after that is bonus points.
Yeah.
They're all just phases of life. So.
Well, as long as you're continuing to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Throughout all these 20 years, each and every section. That's how I look at it. I mean,
life's precious, bro.
If you're enjoying what you're doing, even though our drive is crazy and we add all this extra undue stress to ourselves, but there's still a joy to do it, though. Mm-hmm. And we're like, fuck it, why not?
Life's short.
Exactly.
Enjoy it.
Yes. Well, that's what we have for you today at this awesome Sierra Oscar Foxtrot podcast session. I gotta say that in one breath, and I didn't take a full breath on that one.
And I am the owner, founder, and CEO of Kraken-Skulls, located at 822 Shannon Drive, right here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. If you don't know who we are, find out who we are. Go on all our socials. Kraken-Skulls is pretty much the answer for all of them. And as you pull it up on any of them, some variation will pop up. So welcome to the family, and I'll see y'all later.
That's right. Until you don't know them, fear them.
There you go.
Until you do.
Until you don't know us, but then you should know it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I thought I was on track with that one.
I think it works. All right, y'all. Much love.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Please like and follow so you can stay in the know for the next one.